Hello and welcome to financialexpress.com and to another episode of CXO Connect. And today I have a man who drives some of India's most luxurious cars and gets all of us to also sample some of these luxury cars. Right behind me you can see something that's very aspirational, which is the G-Wagon. And Mercedes India is the leading luxury car manufacturer in India and has been so for a few years now. In fact, to give you some stats, Mercedes has just sold 200,000 cars in India from when they started out in India. And I have the man with me, Mr. Santosh Iyer, who is the CEO of Mercedes India. And I'm going to pick his brains on how the luxury car market for India is shaping up. Santosh, thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining us in this magnificent G-Class lounge in Delhi.
Oh yeah, we should be sitting in the G-Class actually. That's
also, after the interview, we can go for a drive as well.
I know. So, speaking about the luxury car market in India, Mercedes has steadily been increasing its portfolio over the years in India and is the leader in the luxury segment. But how do you see this sustaining? In fact, another bit of trivia, I think Mercedes has the largest variant lineup of any of the car manufacturers in India, and coming from a luxury car manufacturer, that's incredible. So yeah, how are you going to sustain this?
See, first of all, we don't define leadership by volumes itself, because I think sales numbers are one aspect, but if you look at the average selling price is the other aspect. But most important is the love for the brand. We are the most valuable luxury car brand in the world, as well as in India, in terms of the aspirations for people to own the brand and the star, three-pointed star. I think the entire focus is to see how will people continue to aspire, dream. Yeah. As long as the dreams are alive, we will be strong enough in the market. In terms of volume, it's a natural outcome based on what we have done in the past. And we are focused on a couple of things. Firstly, keeping the customer in the center of what we do. Many brands say that. But to give a few examples, when you look at product strategy, we got the first time along wheelbase to India with the E-Class. We were the first to launch electric locally assembled cars in India as well. If you look at our business model, we are the only luxury brand to do a direct-to-consumer business model. If you look at our customer services business, we started service packages at low pricing. We started giving extended warranties. We were giving first to come up with Premier Express, quick deliveries. So a lot of initiatives which ensures the star. First, the customers are happy, and secondly, the star keeps shining always. And that's the recipe we have. Even as we move forward to next year, products remain the core. Globally, we are under the biggest ever product offensive, 40 plus cars being launched by the Mercedes-Benz global portfolio. Many of them will make its way to India.
You do an average of about 14 to 15 launches every year in India, is it?
Yeah, this year has been a bit low key, but next year again, we start picking up the momentum. Many of these cars will come to India. And I think products, in combination with superior customer experience, that's what we will focus on. But as I said, the absolute number of who, I keep saying, when you look at luxury watch brands, let's say Rolex, it cannot be if they chase numbers, they cannot be what they are, but numbers should be an outcome and not the end result of what we do.
Right. But there's also a clear shift in the body style preference in India. Initially, when Mercedes came in 97, 98, at that point of time, it was all sedans. And then the market has shifted to SUVs. In fact, now I think your SUV portfolio is probably larger than the sedan.
It's 55% of the sales we sell are SUVs, but the largest selling car in our portfolio is a sedan. It's an E-Class.
Is the E-Class, yeah. And that's what I want to ask you about. The E-Class is a case in point where a sedan is still making a statement in a market that's dominated by SUVs. So what's it that actually driving sedan sales for you? Because you're one of the few manufacturers who are still...
No, I think too much of noise has been made about the body style. If you ask me, one of the reasons people prefer larger body style in India is because maybe of the road conditions, the feeling that they want to dominate the road, a bit of better road presence. You have all types of vehicular traffic, so an SUV makes you feel a bit more safer. But on the other side, if you talk about pure comfort, nothing to beat a sedan. It's just the laws of physics. It's not just Mercedes-Benz, but any sedan is always better comfortable compared to an SUV. And if you are able to give the right product, an E-Class has a long wheelbase, it has luxury appointments, but more importantly, when you get into an E-Class and get out, you feel more energetic and relaxed. It's a package by itself, and that's why consumers love it. They are big fans of the brand and the car, and that's why I think we don't go by the body style, we more go by the right product for the market.
Okay. And now we have yet another inflection point, which is electric vehicles. And Mercedes again has a pretty large portfolio of EVs as well, from your EQS, EQB, all of them you can see. In fact, I think about 6% of your sales was
It's
EVs.
almost 8 to 9% are EV now.
8 to 9%
Yes.
is now EVs, right? So with EVs coming in, how do you think it's going to sustain again? Because you've been very vocal about this in the past as well, about the infrastructure that's needed. Of course, a Mercedes customer will have the option to charge at home, but he's also the kind of customer who would probably travel between cities and they need the charging infrastructure. So you've been quoted in the past as saying we need that UPI moment in charging, right? What are you doing to work towards that? Like, how is Mercedes setting up the network?
Okay, so a couple of things. Firstly, if you look at the range in our cars, like the EQS that we produce in Pune, it's more than 500 kilometers of real world range. If I look at, we also have the distinction of the Guinness Book record of having close to 900 plus kilometers on a single charge with our car. So I think the car by itself has longer range. But having said that, and the second data point I would say is only 20% of the customers, our customers, are using public charging because most of them have a charging outlet at home or office, so they don't need access so much. It's only when you are doing intercity travel at times you need for that public charging. But for the market as it develops, you will have many first-time buyers coming in. They all need this charging options. And here we have to look at charging in two areas. One, what have we done? We have ensured that we have high capacity chargers, 120 kilowatt, 240 kilowatt chargers at all our dealerships, locations. So the charging time is reduced to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's something very critical. Also, you cannot wait for long. And this is where, when you talk about charging infrastructure in India, if you go with absolute numbers, there are 30,000 charging stations.
Right.
But bulk of them are all the 7.5 kilowatt, which takes a lot of time to charge. But I think the infrastructure is coming up. The other pain point on charging is when you have an EV, you need an app. There are multiple charge point operators. You need multiple apps. They are not aggregated payments. You have to first advance payment, and then you have to load it, and then you have to pay for it. Right. So it's still cumbersome, and that's the reason we have been demanding a UPI kind of a moment where all charges are aggregated. As a consumer, he or she should be able to know, is the charging free? Can I book a slot? Can I pay seamlessly? At this stage, I can say we'll address all of this in India very soon as an OEM as well. So we are working on a holistic solution, but that announcement will come very soon.
Okay. No, because I have personally used Mercedes-Benz chargers in some of your dealerships with driving another brand of car.
We welcome all brands of cars as well.
Yeah. So in fact, that's a good thing. I think if that kind of interoperability happens.
Obviously, because I think we are yet in that system where it's not about market share, who is selling more and what. We need to grow the ecosystem. One of our dealer, not here, but they showed charger utilization as almost 100% in working hours. So I said, how can that happen? We have not so many EVs on the road that every day these chargers are being used. He said, sir, my co-dealer, they don't have, not Mercedes dealer, but some other brand dealer, they don't have a high capacity charger. Their cars are coming and charging at us. We don't say no to them, but their demo cars are getting charged here because we have a 240 kilowatt charger which can charge faster. So I think this is the time for industry to not compete. This is the time for industry to collaborate and build the ecosystem.
Correct.
And at some stage, as the market matures, I think there is enough volumes for everyone to participate.
Right. So what happens with petrol and diesel? And diesel, in India has been a bad word of late. The government...
In Delhi, not in India.
Yeah. in Delhi, especially Delhi NCR. Yeah. But I think this will trickle across to the rest of the country very soon. What happens in Delhi NCR will...
So let me give you a statistics.
Yeah.
Diesel penetration in the luxury segment has increased this year. From 30%, it has gone up to 37%. In our portfolio, as Mercedes-Benz, in October, it went as high as 40% plus. As we speak, I don't have diesels to sell because of that. Now, why it happened? It also happened because when the GST rates were brought down by 8 to 10%, of course, the gap to petrol and diesel remaining same, but diesel prices came down. Diesel car prices came down. Then it's a great issue argument. In fact, EV sales have dropped by 1% in luxury and in mass market in October compared to the earlier months or earlier quarter because finally customer looks at TCO, total cost of ownership. And today diesels are great. They are clean. Also, they are confirming it's also running in Europe and it's not an issue as such. So as long as we are able to be technology agnostic, we will have clean diesels, we will have gasoline and electric, and let the customer decide between the pace of transformation. Right. But as I said, it's an interesting statistics. If you go with the Vahan data, the diesel share, at least in luxury, has increased, and we have also grown tremendously in October.
And in fact, that brings me to another point. BS 6.2, which is the latest standard that we have, and we're soon going to move to BS 7. Diesel is actually technically cleaner than almost all the other cars on the road. Do you think it's then fair, talking of the Delhi NCR market, to limit registration to 10 years?
I would just say that ideally we always propose technology agnostic. All these cars have cleared. If you look at diesel, the problem is, there is CO2 which you can't see, and in diesel you can see PM 2.5, but there's no CO2.
Right.
It's a very simple mind. What you see is what you penalize.
Right.
So diesel becomes a victim. Ideally, the same yardstick should be for any combustion engine car. But I think the policymakers at that, also the public sentiment, we are in Delhi now having this, and the air quality debate is all-time high. So definitely it just adds to the sentiment to say, yes, we have taken some step and maybe diesel is a culprit. But in our view, we should be technology agnostic. These cars all meet the emission standards of the land, and they should be allowed to continue as any car in terms of life cycle.
And also cars like from Mercedes-Benz and all that, 10-year-old cars, you find they haven't done much mileage because most buyers buy them and use them mainly for their office commute and back. So
even if they would have done 3 lakh kilometers, I think their emission levels, as long as they are meeting whatever is the norm set, it should be allowed to operate. Would be a simple thinking, but as I said, the lawmakers, this entire noise couple of years back on the pollution and diesel as the culprit, I think that's now very difficult to undo.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of history behind it. We have to live with it. But rest of India, I think, understands, they are enjoying, and they are using diesel cars as well.
Right. This also brings me to the point of your used car sales, pre-owned. I mean, Mercedes was one of the first to start, the pre-owned business, also in the luxury segment. Do you think that would be something that you could extend if the diesel ban was lifted?
No, we actively do these pre-owned sales. The challenge with pre-owned cars is to get a pre-owned car, because many of our customers pass on that car to their spouse, to their kid, to family. They don't sell it in the open market. Okay. People who come to sell in the open market, our residual values are the highest in luxury. So definitely the asking prices are higher. So our dealers act as intermediaries who are able to facilitate this transaction. Even in Delhi, many of these cars are then sold in other parts of India. In terms of cars which are getting aging, in terms of diesel as well, because that was your question. So I think customers are able to live with it. Anyways, the first customer keeps the car only for 3-4 years. And then they're trying to change to another car, etc.
And that is, again, probably a fallout of your subscription model, because I think a lot of your cars
are bought under finance and leasing. Our financial services in India today has more than 1 billion in portfolio, in terms of cars which are financed are running in portfolio. Right. And 20% of the sales comes under these agility programs, which are a bit like subscription based, and consumers tend to upgrade. So ideally, a consumer in Delhi can also enjoy diesel as much as anybody else, but because of this, so much of negativism, Delhi is still, there is a hesitation, but rest of India, people are much more open.
So is there a mindset change now from the subscription, moving from I need to own the car to I need to subscribe to a car?
Not really. I would say even in the subscription model, the ownership is with the customer. He can still claim depreciation and other benefits. It's not like leasing. Right. So we have tried to structure that in a way and manner where the customer is the owner. At the end of 3 years, he has an option. Either he pays the loan off or he gives the car back. Right. So both options are remaining with the customer, and that's how we fund it. So, but still ownership is a strong reason that Indians still want to own the car and not lease or rent it.
Okay, so you think that's still not changing?
Not really. Also because of the interest rate. When you do a subscription model in the West, in US, a lot of people say, I drove a car for X rental in US or Europe. Why in India it's expensive? Of course, cars are expensive because of taxes, and the other reason is the interest rate. You pay 8 to 10% interest rate on a car in India compared to the 1 to 2% in other parts.
Correct.
So when the balance part of the car is also financed and you are paying interest on the full price of the car, it makes the lease rentals, or I would say the subscription rentals, expensive compared to the European counterparts or US. So that's also the reason, low take rate. If the interest rates comes down, let's say India operates in a 2%, 3% interest regime, subscription will pick up.
Okay. And then there's also the whole aspirational model that the 3-pointer star comes with. And you also have the AMG line in India. Yeah. And every time you launch an AMG car, it's sold out in minutes. I mean, that's a phenomena that I don't know, do you see it in other markets?
There are cult followings, I would say, in a couple of markets where with AMG, at least Middle East as well. These cars are hot cakes even in the Middle East as well. Yeah, but to your question.
Right. So how I mean, and there's a long waiting period because of that, because you brought in 100 cars, they're all gone, then they're waiting for the next lot of them to come in. How do you keep that customer interested in the brand?
See, we have something called Keep Warm. So we ensure that we are engaging the customer through the life cycle, the booking process. We keep them updated about when the cars are produced. Some of these cars also have manufacturer elements. Close to 80% of the cars, the Gs, are all customized as per what the customer needs. So they are ready to wait. They want their own personal G-Wagon, G63 AMGs, or even Maybachs. That's again a big trend in personalization. So we apart from doing a lot of events, track events, engagement activities, we take them to the plant in Graz and stuff. But I think today individualization is a very key element in our top-end luxury business. If you see our portfolio, we are much more skewed towards the top-end vehicles, core segment, not so much in the entry. As such, not because we don't want to participate, but we have a very clear strategy that we won't have a D-spec car in the entry segment, because because you started saying about volumes. Volumes you can also get with a cheaper car, but then it's not a Mercedes-Benz. And we would not like to sell a car which is not having the right attributes. A Mercedes-Benz in India is the same as what's there worldwide. So we need to have that standard. And therefore, we won't compromise on price, but we will ensure we give better experience, better product to the customer.
Okay. So is this why certain cars you pull the plug on them, like the A-Class and all of that, where you brought them in briefly?
No, A-Class still continues, but yes, globally as well, we are looking at how to look at that portfolio. The successor is a CLA. If you see, definitely it will not be a car at sub 50 lakhs. It will be close to 60 lakhs. That will come in first quarter of next year. That's an electric car, 800 plus kilometer of range, latest MBA operating system. It's a next generation car. Again, no plan to de-spec it, bring it below 50 lakhs. No, that's not our strategy. We will bring it at the right price point for sure. We cannot take the customer for granted, but it will be a fully loaded, fully equipped car, debuting in India first quarter next year.
Okay. And you also make a lot of the cars in India now for the domestic market, and also do you plan to make India like a hub for maybe Southeast Asia or something like that?
So currently India doesn't have an FTA with Southeast Asia when it comes to fully built cars. India doesn't have FTA with other markets as well. So in that sense, there's no strategy. Right now our plant in India is for India itself, catering to the local demand. We have invested 3,000 crores in Chakan. We are making 11 odd cars there. We have a big supplier ecosystem that we have developed. We have a full-fledged purchasing office in Pune, which is actually purchasing not only for us, localizing, but also for the world out of India. So we are also developing suppliers to supply for the world from our plant. So I think, and add to that our R&D setup in Bangalore, which has more than 10,000 engineers, trying to work day in, day out on patents, technologies, future operating systems. So Mercedes-Benz, if you see in India, is very deeply entrenched. A lot of work happens on different spectrums. When it comes to localization, we try to see how much we can do for the local market. But this is more in India for India in terms of setup.
Okay. Now, coming to you personally, I mean, you're probably the first Indian origin or Indian CEO of Mercedes-Benz India. When I've known you for many years, from when you were handling marketing at Mercedes, and then you came in. How has this journey at Mercedes been personally for you?
I think it's a great organization for sure, because I have thrived here for 16 odd years. But the strength is, it's a meritocracy-based organization. So I am doing this job because maybe I was able to be part of that talent pool. And so we are agnostic in terms of nationalities and stuff. It's about who makes it. I thought I may not be in India, I may actually be heading some other market, but I was surprised when my boss told me, no, you have to lead Indian operations itself. So I think that's great as a company, as a culture. Also, it started early. I was doing marketing and other jobs. Very early in my career, I was, given an opportunity to do a 2 years program on corporate governance and compliance in Lake Constance. I was in Europe for a couple of times. So I think the company has also invested a lot in me. So I'm really thankful for that. And I think that's what I tell, the day I broke the news in the floor, I said, I'm not permanent. I will also leave, and the chair is open for, and we have a great talent pool in Mercedes-Benz India. I said, one of them can also take up. So I think that's the culture we want to build in, not for life, for limited period, and then I think as leaders we are also restless. We need new things always to do certain things. So that's what we try to promote as a culture also internally.
And what would you say it was also good timing, because at the time you took charge, the market really took off in the luxury segment, and Mercedes became the clear leader. But otherwise, there was the top three brands were always competing very close to each other earlier.
No, not really. I would say that, we have, in terms of absolute volumes, again, we are leading the market for more than 11 years. In between 4 years, we had lost in. We came in 94 to India. That 4 years was led by price competition, product competition, many other things. But if you take the 4 years away, for 30 odd years, 24 years, we have been leading this market. On the other side, I again say, it's a great team. And even my earlier predecessors, all the CEOs who were there prior to me, even though they were Germans, but they relied on the local team and the strength of the company. Because see, automotive business is like a ship. You start turning it, it turns over a period of time. So a lot of credit, it's not to me, but also to my earlier colleagues and also to my entire team that's working. A lot of trust also from Stuttgart to the local team, empowerment to the team that is making this possible.
Okay. And would you say you have some unique insight on the Indian market because you're from here, you understand the market better?
No, surely. See, I have been 25 odd years in the automotive market, right? I started with multiple brands in two-wheelers, four-wheelers, and so on and so forth. So having a lot of deep insights, I've traveled almost to every district in India, small and big towns, met a lot of dealers, customers, and that's my passion as well. I love to do that. So, and that gives me a unique advantage, also knowing 4 or 5 languages, ability to speak and connect there. But when I go to this global CEO meeting, every CEO says my market is different. That's also a fact. China has its own intricacies, US has its own, China, and even smaller markets. Even Poland has its own intricacies compared to others. So I think one thing, each market will have the intricacies, but consumer behavior is not as different. They all want value. They all love the 3-pointed star. Some things are universal. These products are made for the world. It's a Beverly Hills car as much as it's a Southex or Camellia's car, I would say, because it's loved as such by consumers. What we need to do is to make it relevant for our consumers, ensure that we are able to deliver the same promise that we deliver in other parts too, and make it relevant for the Indian consumer. There maybe I can help in the translation, but as I said, it's not only the leader, it's the full team in our organization which are well versed with what we do, and they all contribute, and they are very passionate about the brand as well.
And among your customer base, do you see like most of them being metro customers, or do you see like tier 2, tier 3 cities also? Because there's a lot of old school, old generation wealth which is there.
Yeah, but when you look at percentage growth, tier 2 cities based on population, you can say may be growing faster because, if you sell 10 cars, you make it 20, it's 100% growth. But if you still see the biggest markets are still the metros, Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, they're still the big hubs there. And you'll be surprised even in these markets, say Indore or I would say Kanpur and many markets, even these, our top-end car sale is as high as even 30% there. So it's not that these markets, some entry-level cars are selling. Entry-level cars are actually selling more in metro cities than in the other markets actually. So that's how India is.
Right. Now, you're also a driving enthusiast. What's your current car that you drive?
I am driving an S-Class now, actually. Yes, that's my daily car.
But among the Mercedes portfolio, which is your favorite?
Well, I love the C63 AMG, naturally aspirated engines which used to be there. Then we came with 4-cylinder, but now it's public. We have again announced we will come with our 8-cylinder engines, etc. But then I'm a big fan of the C63 AMG.
Okay, so that would be your ideal weekend car?
Everyday car. Actually, the best car I feel should be, it's part of your life. It's an extension to your lifestyle, to your daily chores. And the C63 ticks all the boxes. It's not as big as an E53 or a E63 AMG. Definitely E63 is much better in that sense. But it's much more compact, much more personal, reflects whom I am, much more agile. I feel it's like a squirrel on steroids. You can really drive fast when you want, and at the same time, it does your daily job as well. So it's the best of all worlds, I would say.
Okay. And what's the one thing you would want to see different on Indian roads? A big change that you would like to see on Indian roads?
I think on the highways, the road quality has improved significantly. But I think on the cities, I can't say that. And where I come from in Pune or maybe other places as well, I think the road quality needs much change. But that's up to the government. But when you look at the citizen, I think the civic sense also, as us, I think it's changing a lot. I've been driving cars around India for many years. But still, I think this is also to do with education, how we treat kids, wearing seat belts, basics as such. If you are able to improve, India can. It's the third biggest automotive market. But do we behave like one, and can we start behaving like that as well? I think that's important.
Right. I think, I agree. I mean, education is important. We also have the largest accident rate in the world.
Exactly. 170, 180,000 people.
And the irony of it is we also have the safest cars in the world in India now.
Yes.
I mean, the government has mandated the ADAS and multiple airbags and everything. And you're up there with all of them. So when do you think we can actually, and this I've asked everybody, but they get very different figures. When do you think we can actually become a country which is not on the top of the list when it comes to accidents?
This is actually quite deep because first of all, India has a mixed-use transport. The biggest topic is two-wheelers as well. Now, it's a necessary thing for India because the structure of the economy, you need two-wheelers as personal mobility. Only when public transportation becomes so good that then you don't need, even the dependency on four-wheelers and two-wheelers comes down, then you can look at accident reduction. Even with better quality roads, then you have the other evil of speed. Now you have low speed but still accidents. Tomorrow you will have high speed but still.
Correct.
And so a combination of education but a strong public transport system and maybe the road users changing over a period of time because there is a lot of 2, 3 different types of cars and two-wheelers and others, and everything has the right use case in India. So it takes time. But in general, if you are able to increase education, have better civic sense, we are doing a lot of programs in schools. We have also, for example, we have taken the Samruddhi Mahamarg and we have adopted it, and we have taken a target to reduce road accidents by 25% year on year. And this is a target-based approach we have done. We are using car data. We are using the braking data coming out of our cars to see where is the corridor, where are the accident hotspots, what can we do. So as OEMs, we are doing a little bit, but I think it's a societal issue.
Right. I mean, the data that comes out of these vehicles is incredible and can be used for so many things.
Exactly.
User behavior, improving road behavior, all of that. But then again, cars as a percentage of the overall transport mix is a very small percentage.
Yes.
Right.
In India, hardly it's 33 or 34 compared to 1,000, compared to the 500 odd. But when I talk to policymakers here in Delhi, I think they are also very pragmatic that India cannot afford to have the 500 per 1,000 at this stage or in the next 10 years. One, the road infrastructure may not keep up with that pace. There is a cost of public health. Till the time we don't decarbonize this sector, no point in going so aggressively in increasing the numbers on the road. High taxes also is a prohibitive factor. So, and of course the core per capita GDP, that's also has to grow. So all of this will take time, but we should, I think this growth rate of 5 to 6% moderated. On the other side, if you see the kind of cars that are selling are better quality, better value, even in the premium segments. Earlier India used to sell only 10 lakh below car. Today we are selling 10 to 20 lakh, which is one of the biggest segments that we are, as a automotive industry is operating. I think that structure is important because it's just not the number. You can be number one by selling only the cheapest car available.
Correct.
They are not safe. They may not be as good in terms of emission and many other things. But I think if you are able to build the structure, grow at the 5-6% growth rate, I think it's a very good mix for India.
Do you see that growth rate happening? Because as of now, I mean, there was a spike after the GST correction.
Yeah, but YTD we are still trending at 5%, which is not bad, and that should hopefully continue.
Okay, great. Okay, so I think that was a very well spent half an hour with you, Santosh. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for your time, and maybe after this we can go for a spin as well.
Yes, we should go for a spin in the G-Wagon. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
And stay tuned to financialexpress.com for more such CXO Connect podcasts on the channel. Thanks for watching.